So what felt inspired to do was to show you this card. I don't think I've ever showed you this. You can't read it. I'll read it to you. But
Okay.
in general, like this side, 2019, lots of words.
Yes.
2020, little,
Fewer.
much less. This year, even less. I think what I feel happening is that by actually showing up and cultivating what I want and digging into the limiting beliefs that are blocking it, I'm really getting more and more specific and broad at the same time. Like I had to get really specific. I had to dive into specific things that I want to see where I don't even believe that that's possible. And now I'm just like stepping back and getting broad and going, I do what I want when I want. That's it, you know, which
Yeah.
has been big for me for a while. But
Hmm.
I watched my recording of last year's resolutions, which is awesome to have that to go back to and like track the growth and track the themes. So you guys started this online at like the end of 2018-ish, right?
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
2019, I remember a lot of people being like, this year sucks. And I remember like, yeah, a lot of hard stuff happened. But since we had this online 3 times a week, like I am living the best life of my life now, no matter what. So I wrote this in 2018 and it was like really, really detailed. It says, this is for the year 2019. Follow my flow 100%. Like I was just learning that I have like an inner rhythm and I have an inner wisdom. So, all right, I'm going to bravely follow it. And making malas as the path or the source, I don't know, full time. And 2019 was the year that I got up the guts to go full time on my passion. I said something about attracting $3,000 a month, which back then I was just really specific and really limiting, but whatever. That's what I needed then.
Hmm.
I am traveling externally and internally, like, and then I listed out like yoga, goddess, moon retreats, the mountains, beautiful nature and cultures. And then I said that my student loans and debt have a zero balance, this or something better. And that was my intention for 2019. So after a full year of spiritual workout and like working it, my intention for 2020 was only 2 sentences. It said, I make what I love. I trust my financial intention.
I love it. And Christina is describing a very key component of setting intentions, which is that sometimes it makes sense to be very general. Like we were just talking with Erin, and she has a lot of different components, but we found sort of an overarching umbrella into which all that fits. And then sometimes all we do is focus on the umbrella, and we don't have to worry about too many of the details. And then the day comes where, for whatever reason, there's something that we want to focus on more intently. And so we get specific. So general intentions can become specific ones can become more general. And Christine is also demonstrating that the more you do this, the easier it gets, and there's less to have to effort, it sounds like you're saying.
There's definitely like just a natural nonlinear flow of like sometimes I need to be more specific and other times
Yeah.
I definitely need to be general. But then I feel like for me right now the generalness is coming out of less out of like I can't go specific on that topic because I'm really not aligned with it. It's coming out of more like this is all I need. Like
That's, yeah.
So I watched last year's recording and I was talking about how I shut down my business in the month of December, but that I was like dreading reopening it because then all these orders are going to come in. And what if I don't want to make them then? And then on the day that I do want to make a bunch of malas, there's no orders and just kind of not feeling like in control of my own life and feeling like weird to be like, oh, I got all these orders. Like what I do is so highly intentional that I never want to do it as a. And just still that stickiness between like my life passion, what I do intention, and the financial intention being separate, and trusting that. And so watching that last year, I feel like I have the same questions and I have the same feelings now, but I have a little more clarity on it. And I think like you and I have been getting closer to it recently in spiritual workouts around, why does this concept keep coming up of like, I only do what I want when I want, which I love, but what is it about what I'm doing that I don't want to do? Why do I get an order, get excited, and then kind of not get excited? Like, making me look closer at truly what part of what I'm doing do I not like, and don't do it, even if you don't think that that's how you should run a business. Like, that's not responsible. You can't just not do that. You can't just, that voice still in my head of like, you can't just sell one mala design. You have to have a bunch of mala designs for a bunch of different people. Yeah, I think I just want to do one. I think I just want to be a person who makes a one mala. And how much I fought that. And so like, I'm feeling even clearer on it this year. I feel like I'm like last year 2.0. Like, I really do what I want when I want. I'm really stopping, and it's like that little bit of fear that comes in around like, but will this make me money? Or, but is this okay to do in a business? Just that voice, I completely stopped everything I'm doing to really go, listen, you can't keep making decisions. I'm not going to move forward. I'm not going to make a single move until you be quiet, so that I know that everything I do is 100% authentic and heart-centered. That's where I find myself now.
I have nothing to add to that.
That's my recap, essentially, over the past 2 years.
Well, you've been in it, in the thick, doing the work, as we say. And look, you don't have to. You've had a strong desire to make your life be what you want it to be. And today it's way more that than it was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Well, and I wouldn't be here right now asking myself these questions if I didn't start on the path and ask a question and change it, and ask a question and change it. So I just feel like this is like the next iteration of the path. So, yeah. So the intention would be really just taking that, I make what I love, I trust my financial intention, taking that down to, my life is fun, clear, and easy, and I do what I want when I want. Truly, I really do. None of the residue left in there is, but I have to make money, but I have to survive. And I just feel like that's like ninja level, trying to figure out, like, are you joking? Do you not need groceries?
Yeah, no,
really?
no,
how are you going to work that out? Yeah. But like, what I'm feeling is that when I connect to the people who are the most authentic, I connect to them because they're authentic, and I'm meant to connect to them. And there's this thing in me that thinks, when that survival mode kicks in, it thinks I need to be everything to everyone.
Right.
And that's like the residue of that.
Well, and I think another piece of what you're talking about is true for all of us, that the more aligned we are, the more we invest our precious time and energy in what we want, the less tolerant we become of anything that isn't that. The way you're speaking, and I know you hear me say this sentence a lot, is to me evidence of somebody who's been at this for a while. Because you don't get to that place on day one of what's an intention, which is, you just don't. And that's why we're here, because it doesn't happen on a dime. It doesn't happen because you read a book and it's done. It doesn't happen because you go to a therapy session and you're done. You know, it happens because you practice and you practice and you practice.
And I'm so like, here I am in the middle of it, like still needing to practice, because okay, I've been practicing and I'm getting bolder and braver and newer ideas, and I'm listening to inspiration more and more. And the residue in there of like, you can't do that, is like, nothing feels worse than being so sure about what you won't deal with anymore and not having any idea how to do that. Like, I know that I will not go sit somewhere in a cubicle for 40 hours of my life every week. I know I can't do that. I can't anymore. And then the fear is like, that's cool. How do you plan on surviving in the world? And it's like, I don't know.
Because you have an intention that you're cultivating that covers that, or you have more than one that covers that. I just want to pick up on a little detail, since we're not hammering you on changing the language of your one sentence thing. But when you say, I trust my financial intention, were you also saying that when you talk about doing what you want when you want, that that's tied to the financial intention?
Yeah, like,
I thought so.
Feel like, yeah, because it's like, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do it that way, but I have to, because that's how you run a business. And that the sole purpose of me running a business is to be able to do what I love in the world and simultaneously make money to survive. And I'm hitting this point now where I'm like, everything that I've been doing for the past, like, ever since I graduated from college, has been like, I'm going to do it the way I want. I know I have to belong in this world. I know I have to do these things I don't want to do, but I'm going to do them the way I want. And I think I've hit a breaking point where I'm like, I don't have to do them the way I don't want anymore at all. So a big part of that is, I mean, because it's like, well, I'll do what you want. I'll get a job, or I'll start my own business. I'll participate, but I'll do it in a way that feels good for me, and I'll do it with a product that I believe in. I'll work for a company but I believe in, because that's how you get money and that's how you survive. And I think I've just hit a snapping point where I'm like, I won't even do it that way. I don't know. I just have to believe in my financial intention so much, because that's the one thing keeping me from fully doing what I want when I want.
So you changed your beliefs from when you used to do that other kind of work to today.
Working on it.
I mean, that's part and parcel of setting intentions. So the only fine-tuning, ultra fine-tuning that I would even offer, and I don't know how you're saying it in your mind, but I would encourage you to say I can do what I want to do when I want to do it, versus I trust my financial intention. Just languagey. Does one feel...
So do the first one? Or you're asking
how
me?
do they feel compared to each other?
They're a little intertwined. So I do what I want when I want is like my audacious battle cry. That is like, that's my battle cry. That's like, there's no other way I can think about living. But in order to do that, I feel like I need to trust my financial intention.
Okay, beautiful. It only matters. This is true for everybody. You know, we can talk and banter, offer ideas. All that matters is how any of this language sits in any of us individually, right? So that's what we do. We try to fine tune. We don't try. We fine tune the language to get it to where it feels, that feels right. And as Christina has demonstrated, those things will change. Those words will change. Those ideas will change. Or they could.
Yeah, because there's like the societal part of me that's like, well, you need to do linear things in exchange for money. Then there's another part that I've been really kicking ass on, which is like the worth part. Like, even if I trust my financial intention, if I don't have worth, that I can have a desire to be here on this planet, in this body, and live the way I want and survive and thrive even, I have to believe that I'm worthy of that.
Yes.
That's been a huge component of it.
Yes, for sure.
That I've gotten a lot of traction on lately. Like, just kind of out of like throwing my hands up and being like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Shall we toast to fewer words?